Here's a list of everything I've learned this week. There's a lot of things rolling around in this head of mine. Some may say too many. I couldn't tell you what I've learned and when I learned it, so I'm doing this to keep track. First, those reCAPTCHAs that you sometimes fill out where you type in the words that you see actually have a hidden purpose. First use case was to transcribe a bunch of scanned text from the New York Times archive to help train a software to do it automatically. Ye olde AI, if I may. Then I read this article about dark citizen science, and while the reCAPTCHA thing is cool, it's technically an unpaid transcription service, so there was actually a class action lawsuit against Google because they didn't disclose that it was to train software. Crazy. Next, I'm reading this book Fantasy by Bruno Munari, great book, and he has this framework for intelligence and creativity. And I like this because I think a lot of the times we think of intelligence as something totally different than creativity, and we kind of encourage people to separate the two. But he kind of describes it as a filter for how we process the external world. And then we use creative tools to turn that into something cool. He says, thought thinks and imagination sees. I like that. In other news, digital gardens exist and I'm obsessed with them. I actually have a video coming out on this really soon, but basically a digital garden is sort of like an online personal wiki or journal where you share thoughts and ideas and just watch it grow over time. So it's kind of like a blog, but not really, because it's not about publishing articles. It's more like an open access notes app where you connect all of your ideas together. Now, I've been saying this is the year for prototyping in public and learning in the open, so I think this is a really cool way to explore that. Speaking of gardens, plants that are the first to grow in disturbed lands, like weeds that grow on the side of the road or through the cracks in the pavement, actually have a name, and they're called rooterals, and I think that's pretty cool. This one's a bit more out there, bear with me, but if you want something new, you have to stop doing something old. Put that on a Hallmark card. So I quit my job recently, scary, and I did it because I realized that I need to actually make space for the things that I want to happen. And if my time and my life is filled with the old stuff that's not really doing it for me anymore, then it's time to make some cuts, and that's what I did. Finally, it's really hard to grow chia seeds on a pair of shoes. That's not a euphemism. I tried turning a pair of loafers into a chia pet. It'll make sense one day, but in the meantime, I just got kind of moldy, so now I gotta figure that out. If anyone has any ideas though, let me know.